Hi, I'm Chad with Move For Guitar. This lesson is from our series Guitar Chords for Beginners. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to play an open A major chord. Here's an open A major chord. And this is a really common chord you'll use all the time, and it's good to learn as a beginner, but I don't think it's one of the very first chords you should learn. It's a little more difficult to play. And in my opinion, I think you should learn the chords in the key of G and C before any other chords, although other teachers would disagree with me, so you can learn this whenever you want. But if you look in the description, there's links to chords that I think you should learn first and will be more useful to you. And the reason I don't think the A major is the most useful to learn right away, like I said, it's more difficult to play, but also it fits in keys that are a little more difficult to play. And I think the key of G and C, if you can play in those two keys first, you can use a capo and play in any key. It'll get your hand in shape to play any chords, and then you can learn other chords like this. But like I said, if you want to learn it, just learn it whenever you feel like you want to learn it, or if you've heard someone else to say learn it right away, that's fine. It's just my opinion. So the fingering for this chord, there's two ways you can finger it. There's more than two, but as a beginner, I'd say there's two that'll be the easiest. So first way is like I just played it, which is your first finger, your second finger, and your third finger all in the same fret, which are in the second fret. So it'd be your first finger on the fourth string, second fret, your second finger on the third string, second fret, and your third finger on the second string, second fret. So you really have to scrunch your fingers together like mine are, and they're going to be at an angle like this, where your first finger is farthest back in the fret and your third finger is closest to the fret wire. And you just really have to squeeze them together, and back here you're going to have to put more pressure to get the note to ring out. But that's how you have to do it. You're not going to stack your fingers on top of each other in a weird way. So that's why this chord's a little more difficult, because you're fitting all these fingers into one fret. So it can be pretty challenging for a beginner to get all the notes to ring out clearly. So that's one way. Another way that might be a little easier for you to do, although I never use this way, but a lot of people do, is to switch your first and second finger. So you would move your second finger to the fourth string and move your first finger to the third string. So it would look like this. And I mean, that can be useful for a lot of situations. It is a little easier to hold, I think. Like I said, a lot of people play it this way, others don't. It just depends what works best for you. And one nice thing about this, if you're going from an A major to an E major, then your first finger is going to stay on the same string the whole time, so that's easier for doing stuff like that. Because otherwise you'd have to make this switch, which is removing all your fingers. So you can learn it this way. You can probably find a lot of use for it. I play it this way just because that's how I learned when I first started, so it's up to you. You also see a lot of people bar and get all three notes with their first finger, but that's really difficult for a beginner to do. And you're going to leave out the first string when you do that, so I don't recommend learning that right away. So when you have this fretted, either way that you're holding it, you're going to leave the fifth string open, that's the root note, and you're going to leave the first string open. And then you're going to mute out the sixth string. So you can reach your thumb up and do that, just lightly touch it and mute it out if you can reach up there. If you can't reach up there, you're just going to have to try and avoid it when you're strumming. And it's alright if you hit it a little bit. That note is in the chord. It's just if you leave it in there too much when you're strumming, it gets pretty muddy. So it's best to either mute it out or try to avoid it as much as possible. So that's an open A major chord.